40s and 50s at?
This is the third video in our exploration of goddesses and the divine feminine. If you'd like to start at the beginning of the series, you can click the link up here. And if you're new here, hey, I'm Kai, and this is Stephanie Danger. She serves as an alter ego for middle-aged women who are over the status quo and want to live life by their own rules. Goddess practice is a fun way to celebrate and embody our divine feminine power in everyday life. I am using an online random name picker, so the universe has some say in the order we meet the goddesses. And in this video, we are going to connect with our inner Radha, the goddess of pure love and romantic longing. Now, before we start, God comes up a lot in this video, so I am going to establish from the beginning that when you hear that word, you can translate it to whatever God means for you. And if God is not a part of your vocabulary or your belief system, I invite you to replace it with the word love. As we prepare to meet Goddess Radha, let's take a couple of deep breaths together to get grounded and open ourselves up to her wisdom. So taking a deep breath in and release. And we take one more deep breath in as we invite Radha to unveil herself within and outside of ourselves. May the manifestation of her Shakti awaken us to our own heart. And may she show up for us in magical and unexpected ways. In Indian mythology, there are two archetypal romances. One is Shiva and Parvati, who we met in the last video in this goddess series, and the other involves Goddess Radha. Hers is a teenage love story between her and a young Krishna. Radha is a young woman growing up in the cowherd village of Vraja. Her lover, Krishna, was sent there as a baby to escape death at the hand of his uncle, who was sworn to kill him. In Indian mythology, Krishna is the masculine incarnation of God's irresistible beauty, allure, and love. He's like a cosmic intoxicant. And as a result, everyone in the village adores Krishna. Mothers and older women love him as a son. Cowherd boys love him as a friend and ringleader, and cowherd girls are erotically and intensely in love with him. Now, in any other situation, all the young women being erotically drawn to one person would be scandalous. But because everyone in this village is part of a mythic conspiracy to adore this incarnate deity, conventional rules don't apply, which is kind of a running theme of Radha's nature. One of the most famous erotic Krishna stories is how Radha abandoned everything to dance with Krishna in moonlit forests. All the cowherd girls, also known as gopis, beg Krishna to dance with them in the forest at night. Mischievously, he tells them they will when the time is right. But when you hear the sound of my flute, you have to drop everything and come to me. One August night, as the moon rises over the river, the gopis hear the notes of Krishna's flute. True to their promise, they drop everything and go to him. They begin to dance together. In Indian mythology, this dance is known as Ras Leela. He plays his flute. The women sway and bend, lost in ecstasy. At one point, he disappears from the circle. He and Radha are found laying on a bed of flowers by the river, embracing one another. Radha's love for Krishna kindles his love for her, and it gives her as much power over him as he has over her, and she knows it. Part of the allure of Radha's romance with Krishna is its intense humanness. He demands her full attention. She weeps because she can never have his. Their attachment is unconventional. Radha's love madness leaves her ready to give up her husband and her position for Krishna. But Krishna's nature is polyamorous. His task in the world is to share his love, never to confine it to just one person. In the end, Krishna leaves Radha. He is the son of a king and eventually is called back to the city to assume his rightful place. Radha, a peasant girl married to another man, must stay behind. But Radha never forgets. For the rest of her life, she spends her days meditating on Krishna. But in her obsession and grief at being separated from her beloved, something amazing happens. She begins to see Krishna everywhere. The whole world becomes her beloved. When we look at the life of Radha and her devotion to Krishna, we learn how to love unconditionally, to love with an open heart no matter what. In Indian devotional tradition, her state is called the bliss of the pain of separation, and it is considered one of the highest of all spiritual experiences. Originally in mythic stories, Radha only appeared as a nameless cowherd girl. She only emerged as a full-fledged goddess through the work of a few poets during the medieval flowering of the Bhakti movement in India. Bhakti, the devotional path of yoga, was a movement for spiritual democracy. More formal Hindu paths were elitist and only open to high caste men. But the Bhakti movement welcomed women, illiterates, workers, outcasts, basically anyone drawn to God by love. There is a key insight of the Bhakti path that I really love. They believe any human emotion can be turned toward God. I am what's known as a highly sensitive person. My heart is easily broken when humans do hurtful things, and it doesn't have to be done to me. If it's done to anybody, it's hard for me. The synchronistic timing of me connecting with Radha during this current crisis has turned into a bit of a gift because it's given me a new tool I can use in the future. One of Sally Kempton's Radha meditations in her book Awakening Shakti has been really helpful. The meditation is called The Sensation of Heartbreak, and she describes it as not for the faint of heart because this exercise involves turning into rather than away from the energetic sensation of heartbreak. Sally says Radha's core state is a practice that is really worth exploring, even though it might feel counterintuitive. The idea is to feel the pain, let your heart break, and sit with the inner sensation of it. What Radha is teaching us is to stay open in the midst of heartbreak. And I gotta tell you, when I did this meditation, it really helped. It actually continues to help. It's like something opens that you can re-tap into now once you've done it the first time. Someone described it as dissolving into the love wound. I know the injustices and inequalities will continue, but now I know I can call on Radha for support each time my heart is once again broken. The other meditation I love is The World as Your Divine Lover. The invitation is to make love to everything, to see the divine in it all, to live life fully immersed in the tastes and the sounds and the smells and the longing of it all with equal measure. So I did this meditation while going on a walk, and it was blissful. Highly recommend it. It starts by placing your attention on your heart, and eventually you are invited to name everything you see as divine. You look at the trees and name them God or love. Look at that crack in the ground and name it God. Name the scent wafting from this jasmine, the stickers on that bike rack, and roadside wildflowers with the thought, this is God. This is love. My shadow is God. This bird poop is God. This cigarette butt, my recording when I didn't know I was. These old nails and staples in the light pole. These fallen leaves dying. And especially myself. You hold them all with the thought, this is all God. This is all love. Okay, so here's the thing about Radha. that makes me nervous about fully embodying her energy. Sally Kempton says to fully understand what Radha is about, you need to have had at least a glimpse of erotically charged devotion. She goes on to say it's not possible in an ordinary state of mind to give yourself up completely to a painful and basically unrequited love because it seems irrational and mad. Yeah, I would agree. It does seem irrational and mad, and even more importantly for me, it seems unsafe. I know. It isn't really unsafe. And deep down in my heart, I know it's actually the path to total and utter freedom. But for now, I give myself grace in not being ready to fully go there. But all of this awareness of my fears and resistance, it makes me excited because I love discovering places in myself where there is room to grow and evolve. Radha teaches the joys of affection, faith, and unwavering devotion to self, loved ones, and divinity. Radha is the goddess of lovers and hopeless romantics. She shows up as passion, devotion, and erotic love. Radha stands out among this village of Krishna lovers because she loves Krishna to the point of losing all self-consciousness. Radha's kind of love ain't quiet. It is not that peaceful, detached vibe we often associate with spirituality. It's passionate love, and it is demanding. It doesn't take no for an answer.
No?
No.
Is that the only word that you know? No?
And it is as likely to shout in passionate rage as to sigh in passionate affection. This quality of Radha is something I think could be huge for middle-aged women. We have got so much conditioning and shoulds attached to us after 4 or 5 or more decades on the planet, and invoking Radha to help us lose all self-consciousness. Can you imagine? It just feels like such a powerful exercise. I love the idea of seeing thousands of middle-aged women reconnecting with their right to demand things. Okay, of course, I recognize and acknowledge that this requires a lot of courage, but that's why we call on Radha. I think a great way to dip your pinky toe into this state of mind could be through poetry. Generations of Hindu and Sufi mystics were infused with Radha's energy. They even sometimes scolded God, as Radha does Krishna, accusing him of being unfaithful or repaying devotion with cruelty. If you are into poetry, I highly recommend a book called Love and the Turning Seasons, India's Poetry of Spiritual and Erotic Longing. I'm not a poetry person, but the poems in this book have Radha oozing all over them. As the goddess of lovers, Radha is the go-to Shakti for all matters of the heart. You can go to her to find the juice in your romantic relationship, for attracting romance, or for supporting you in the midst of a breakup. You can also recognize her in devotion to a person or to God, in romantic settings like a moonlit forest, lake, or beach, and in overflowing love for nature as the beloved. As we age, we can kind of tend to get set in our ways, and Radha can be a goddess that helps us rekindle our playful spirit. She can serve as a salve for the scars and the wounds we all accumulate just from living life. Here are some ways that you can embody Radha in your daily life. As I do for each goddess, I have put together a curated YouTube playlist of videos to help you engage with her vibe and energy. Definitely bookmark it for future reference. The link is up here. The 3 traditional forms you can use to engage with Radha are her image or statue, her mantra,
Om Radha Krishnaya Namaha,
and her geometric form or yantra. Radha's name means devotion. Sally Kempton says there are 2 requirements for practicing with Radha's energy. The first is to keep looking fiercely for the divine in your beloveds. And the second is to be willing to keep opening to your feelings, meeting your emotions with the recognition that even the most painful can be a doorway to the divine. I'm going to keep working on that. The years between the ages of 12 and 20 are the times when many young women play out the fullness of their Radha nature. Can you remember those years? I can remember. They were pretty emotionally volatile. It feels like your life depends on being loved by the one you love, and a breakup can feel like a reason to stop living. Anyway, since Radha is the teenager of our bunch of goddesses, she's actually the perfect goddess to introduce to the young women in your life, your daughters, your nieces, your granddaughters. In a sense, Radha is the patron goddess of teen romance. I think she would be good as a unconventional form of support through this very emotional stage of life. But you don't have to be young to have Radha explode in your heart.
Never lose your childish enthusiasm, and things will come your way.
If you're into music, Whitney Houston's album Whitney is full of the Radha vibe. There are a couple of her music videos in the Radha playlist. Other ways you can invoke Radha in your daily life: live your passion, acknowledge your wants and desires and pursue them, and make love to everything. For a longer Radha adventure, you can take your lover, some delicious foods and wine, and lock yourselves away in a beachfront hotel or a mountain cabin for days on end and just worship each other, pretending the outside world doesn't exist. That is a pure Radha experience. Shoot, you can even do that and have a wild love affair with yourself. Radha is all about making your ordinary relationships playful and flirtatious and loving. She likes to turn a love affair into an erotic experience of the divine. Radha is another goddess you can connect with through movement. You especially want to move your hips. It gets us in touch with our center and our core. I call it getting sweaty and sacred. Sally Kempton in her book shares how her friend bows to his wife every morning and evening, and the wife bows to him. They do this even when they aren't getting along with each other. Them worshiping each other doesn't stop a couple from fighting or being human, but it's about learning to hold even the mundane aspects of the relationship in a context of sacred affection. As an internal practice, Radha's energy could infuse your spiritual practice with intense feelings so that you direct all your normal human emotions, affections and annoyance, anger and infatuation toward God. One of my favorite things to do is listen to and or chant the mantra Aham Prema. The phrase is Sanskrit for I am divine love, and daily repetition of it awakens the root, heart, and crown chakras. I have been listening to it every day. I love it. I don't know how to explain how it makes me feel, but it feels so good. And finally, I am sporting the latest design in my Goddess Collection apparel line. It has a mantra for Radha written in Sanskrit. It's a fun way to keep the energy of your favorite goddess close to you as you go about your day. This is actually the tank top, but I decided to get creative in honor of Radha's youthful, playful spirit. I chose the color blue because Radha and Krishna are often seen in pictures wearing attire that matches the complexion of the other. Radha's attire is blue to match Krishna's blue complexion. Above all, Radha reminds us that our desire to love and be loved comes from God. She comes to us to help us stand up for love and our right to be loved. I realized while engaging with Radha that as I make my videos for Stephanie Danger, I feel like I am having a wild love affair with middle-aged women. The more videos I make, the more madly and deeply I fall in love with us.